So who did I meet first? I think I started talking to you first out of everyone. I think.
I don't really know.
I think what it was Bruce Beach, the Doomsday Shelter.
Yeah.
What the heck did he call it? The Arc 2?
The Arc 2.
I think it was called.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that place, but for those of you who don't know, the Arc 2 is this basically nuclear shelter that this man built. When was it? Like
1982.
Jesus.
Wow. 44 school buses underground.
Wow. Yeah, and it's like, and then he did just poured like solid concrete on top.
Yeah.
And then like a huge layer of earth, and it's cool too because I learned this from him. So apparently, nuclear radiation can't go around corners, so
That's right.
they purposely add a bunch of diagonal corners. So you basically, I remember going into this place and it's kind of scary to say the least. Like the first time was a little scary with all the lights off and stuff.
Yeah.
So you have this 90-something-year-old man named Bruce. He's unfortunately passed away now. What was it, like a year or 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago, yeah.
Really cool dude. Like really, honestly, very wholesome. I remember his wife was still around, completely deaf, and she was just like, "Hello there," when you'd walk into the house, and she'd come and she'd be like, "Pib," and I'm like, I didn't even know what a pib was, but apparently it's like a knockoff Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
So she'd come in offering you the pib, and basically he would take you around inside of his nuclear shelter in exchange for like a half an hour to an hour, maybe 2 hours worth of work.
Yeah, sweat labor. What do they call it?
How many hours?
So, I don't know, a couple hours maybe at best.
Called it sweat equity or something like that.
Yeah.
You have to go in, put in the work, and then he'll take you to the bunker.
Yeah, basically. So
I took you and I did it.
You got off easy.
I got off easy.
Yeah.
I tore something in somewhere in my body. I think like my shoulder helping this dude. Like, so what he wanted me to do, I don't know if you remember, there was a car sitting almost directly in front of the shelter.
Yep.
It had been sitting there for so long at that point that I think he was trying to fix the brakes. And obviously the dude's like 90 years old, so he can't do it himself. So he's trying to get me to like take the what do you call it, like the bolts off of the
caliper?
The caliper, yeah. And they were so seized on. I was like fucking reefing on this thing with like a giant breaker, but nothing. And I was pushing and pulling, and I think I had Oz with me. The two of us couldn't do this thing. And then at some point, like the next day, I'm like, yo, what did I do to my shoulder? Like I screwed up, right? And I kind of felt it right away. I'm like, uh-oh, I did something.
Yeah.
And for like months and months after that, it hurt. But then he took me around. He didn't, I wasn't able to do it like very long. I think I had like a half an hour. So I just kind of ran through the place and experienced what it would be like if, you know, World War III started and, you know, the Russians started dropping the nukes on us and what it would be like to live underground for a few months. And let me tell you, it wasn't pretty. So you went too, Carlo?
Yeah. When we went, how much work did we do? We did at least 4 to 5 hours.
We started with moving furniture. He had one of his daughters was going to come live with him. So we had to move furniture around. We had to move a bookshelf, and the house was dusty as shit.
Yeah.
And we had to move books off of a shelf, move the shelf into a bedroom, move a couch into this bedroom, move this bed downstairs. Everything we moved, the poof of dust, you know, right in our faces. And then we had to go outside, and we had to clean out. He had these Culligan salt water containers.
Yeah.
And they were full of caked on salt. And he had us clean them. That wasn't too bad. I went twice. My first time I went, I had to cut his grass, and he has a big yard. So I cut the lawn, and then he had me build a garden for his wife.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I had to build a garden for his wife so she could go and sit on her walker and plant plants.
Yeah.
And and then the second time we went, so the first time I went was so I could have the tour, just me, and I wanted to do a video and get a tour. And when I was talking to him and finding a date, I asked him if I could spend the night. I said, you know, you built this bunker. It's got electricity. It's got everything I need. Can I spend the night?
It was the fire department, right?
Yeah. He said,
I had the same issue.
Yeah, he said,
I tried to do the same thing.
If I let you, the fire department will come and they'll shut me down.
Yeah.
Well, am I ever glad I didn't? Because that air was so disgusting in there.
Oh, yeah.
The entire, from the top to the bottom and the lower you got, it was damper and damper, and it was moldy.
Of course.
Like he was hacking up a lung in there, this 90-year-old guy. And there's no way anybody would survive a week in this place in any sort of a nuclear situation.
I mean, at the end of the day, where would you rather go, right?
True,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, it's a crappy situation to be in there in the first place, but
Yeah.
I mean, at least you have the chance of survival.
Yeah.
But
The second time I went was when I brought Carlo.
Yeah.
And I had this idea. I wanted to do a parody song of the Lizzo song,
Oh my
Truth
God.
Hurts. So I had written the lyrics to Truth Hurts, but I called it Tooth Hurts. Like I got a toothache.
yeah, because you had like a dentist chair, with
Oh,
it, right?
yeah. And so I'm like, how are we gonna do this? So Carlo and I, we did an IKEA bomb. So we went to IKEA with my camera, and Carlo filmed me in IKEA singing,
yeah.
right? And hanging out in an IKEA kitchen, eating candy and junk food. And then we went to Burlington Pier and we did some shots there. Then I needed the dentist's office because obviously I need a dentist and I need somebody to do my teeth. So Bruce had this terrifying dentist office and dentist chair in the bunker. And so I asked Bruce if I could use it for this video. And he says, of course. So I brought Carlo. We went to the house. We spent a couple of hours doing work. He actually gave me the keys to go ahead to the bunker on my own. Well, I needed him to be my dentist. I needed a creepy old dentist. So I asked Bruce, I said, will you be my dentist? And he's like, oh, okay, sure. So I said, we're going to go and start filming. And then you show up in about an hour. And then when we're ready, you can do the dentist scene. So Bruce shows up, and I brought like a drill, and I brought fake teeth and fake blood, and I brought a pair of pliers. So I have this scene in the video where I'm sitting in the dentist chair, and he takes the pliers and he yanks my tooth out.
No.
And then I did a close-up of the tooth, and I just had dripped blood on it. So all this blood drips off the tooth, and Bruce was awesome.
Okay, so did he actually pull your tooth out?
No.
No. Okay. Damn.
He was such a trooper. He did such a good job,
Yeah.
and it ended up being really good. And Carlo helped film. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That sounds incredible. So sorry. He had a dentist office built into the bunker. What else was he prepared with other than?
Well,
a
he
dentist
had
office?
radios. He had Geiger counters for the radiation. He
Makes
had
sense.
the main purpose of the bunker was for women and children.
Okay.
The men would be out scavenging and surviving. And it was he had daycares set up for children to live in. So it was
Wow.
full of children's toys. And then they had these like bunk beds that were child-sized bunk beds. So he could fit some ridiculous amount of children and women. So that the men would be out surviving and saving the world, and the women and children would live in the bunker. And this would be the replenishment of society.
That's the future of humanity living down
Yes,
there.
exactly. That's exactly
crazy.
his thought. So
Wow.
he had like all kinds of like food. He had big glass things full of candy, like M&Ms.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he had a full kitchen set up. It was very, very well planned out at the time. If something happened in the 1980s, I have no doubts that it would have worked. But moving into the 90s and the 2000s, the
It's just
technology.
dated, I feel.
Yes, and his power system was outdated, and then it was just running off of a generator.
Gigantic diesel generator. So down there,
Yeah.
the closer you got to the generator, it just stunk.
Yeah.
So imagine being down there. I mean, who knows how long you would have had to be down there if something like that actually happened.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after a while, it's like that's all you smell.
Yeah.
You just smell diesel fumes.
And he kept buying gas. He would buy gas and fill jerry cans, just in case.
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
talking like right up to the end. He would go out and buy gas, and then him and his wife would run out of money. So he would use the gas that he bought for the shelter. Then he'd have to go out and buy new gas because it would go bad, right? So he was fully prepared right up to the end to use the bunker,
Wow.
even though there's no way in hell it would have worked.
Yeah. Oh, he was ready. But so I think there's two of them though, right? So I think there's one somewhere in the US because he's, as far as I remember, he was part of some like organization.
Yes.
Reason why they built Arc 1 and Arc 2.
That's right.
Right? So
Yeah.
the Arc 2 was here and the Arc 1. I don't remember where
I don't know
he's
anything about the
said.
first one.
Yeah, I know it's somewhere, but now that he's passed, like, is someone taking care of this
Yes.
place?
So his family so he died first, and then his wife died.
Oh, I didn't even know she died.
Yeah, she
she did
died
die?
about a year later.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so then it went to the family.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a family friend who maintains Bruce's email database.
Right.
And so she'll still send emails every once in a while, and they'll do a call for help to come work on the bunker. I don't know what their plan is,
Yeah.
but the family still owns the land.
Wow.
But obviously it's probably just going to end up getting filled in or something.
Yeah, who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, I imagine the property's probably pretty valuable these days, right? I mean,
Well, I mean, there's nothing there where it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it's in Hornings Mills near Orangeville
Yeah.
and Shelburne. But even there, like there's still no sprawl there. So
yeah. But eventually, I imagine because they're starting to build, I think, in Shelburne, so that's not
Yeah.
far from there. So I
Yeah.
imagine eventually,
Yeah.
you know, they might start filling it in. So, but yeah, that was the ARC 2 shelter. I thought that was pretty cool. But the way that I was the way we got introduced to each other, I guess, was through that, because I think you had filmed it a week before me.
right around the same time.
Yeah, but I have a habit of filming something, then literally within like 30 seconds I post it, right? So I probably ran home that day. I'm like, man, this video is so cool. I'm going to upload it like right away. It's going to do amazing. So I went and uploaded the video, and of course it got demonetized for some reason, but I got a manual request. I think it was just, it did, yeah, for some odd reason. I think it was just because it's like nuclear related somehow. I don't know why, but you know how YouTube is.
Yeah.
They just do stupid things. But yeah, so I remember I posted the video, and then I think you were getting your video ready, and I think you had either commented or you messaged me on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I think I
and then-
messaged you
Yeah, and then from there we kind of followed each other and then
Yeah.
started talking.
because I didn't know of anybody else who had done it, and then I saw that you did
Yeah.
it, and there you go.
I just thought it was intriguing. I mean, it was such a
Totally.
unique location. Like you said, it probably wouldn't have worked today.
Yeah.
I mean, is what it is, I suppose. But
Yeah.
did you post your video on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, to me, that place was kind of cool.
It
was.
was, yeah.
It's, you know, it was outdated, but I think it could have lasted even if we went into a world war now. To be honest,
Possible.
I mean, like I said, where else
Like,
would
look-
you want to be? if-
like look at the front doors that we had to go through.
Oh man, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
because he had a couple
Glass doors.
break-ins,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And he made the door more solid, so no one could break into this place anymore. And the only way you can get in now is that front door.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you went in, when we filmed me and you had to crawl in there by yourself in the dark to find where the
I had
generator
to find the
was.
generator, turn on the generator,
Yeah.
put in the gas,
Yeah.
and pump it up. Yeah.
Because you can't open the generator silo from the outside. It's
No.
got to be from the inside of the
Yeah.
bunker.
Yeah.